We all want to be happy. We chase after it in countless ways: success, relationships, possessions. But sometimes, happiness seems like an elusive butterfly, always just out of reach. The truth is, happiness is an inside job. It's not about what we have, but about how we see the world. It's about choosing joy even when life throws us curveballs. The journey to happiness is not always easy. In today's fast-paced world, we face a unique set of challenges that can make happiness feel like a distant dream. One of the biggest thieves of joy in our modern age is stress. The demands of work, family, and finances can leave us feeling overwhelmed and depleted. Another thief is comparison. Social media has created a highlight reel of everyone else's seemingly perfect lives, making us question our own worth and accomplishments. And then there's the thief of purposelessness. When we lack a clear sense of purpose, we drift aimlessly, searching for meaning and fulfillment in all the wrong places. Life is full of responsibilities. We have jobs to do, families to care for, and bills to pay. It's easy to feel the weight of the world on our shoulders. The pressure builds, and before we know it, we're carrying around a heavy load of stress. Stress manifests in different ways. Maybe you feel anxious and overwhelmed, your mind racing with endless to-do lists. Maybe you experience physical symptoms like headaches, fatigue, or difficulty sleeping. Whatever form it takes, stress is a thief. It robs us of our joy, steals our peace, and diminishes our capacity for happiness. But there's hope. Think about a time when you were truly happy. Maybe it was a moment of laughter shared with loved ones, a sense of accomplishment after achieving a goal, or a quiet moment of peace in nature. Now imagine that same moment tainted by stress. Stress has a way of dimming our light. It drains our energy, leaving us feeling depleted and discouraged. But God doesn't want us to live in a constant state of stress. He wants us to experience the fullness of life, the joy that comes from knowing Him and living according to His purpose. In Matthew 11, verses 28 to 30, Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." When we turn to God, we find solace in His presence. We discover that His peace surpasses all understanding, calming our anxious hearts and quieting our troubled minds. Life is full of storms. There will be times when challenges arise, when stress threatens to overwhelm us, and when it feels like the weight of the world is on our shoulders. But even in the midst of the storm, we can find peace. It starts with a shift in perspective. Instead of focusing on the problem, we can choose to focus on God's promises. Philippians chapter 4, verses 6 to 7 tells us, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God." When we surrender our worries to God in prayer, we open our hearts to His peace. In our digital age, it is easier than ever to fall into the comparison trap. We scroll through social media and see the highlight reels of other people's lives. Everyone seems to have it all together: perfect vacations, flawless appearances, and impressive achievements. This constant exposure to others' curated lives can make us feel inadequate and unhappy with our own. Comparing ourselves to others steals our joy because it shifts our focus from our own blessings to what we lack. It fosters feelings of envy and low self-worth. When we measure our lives against others, we often forget that what we see is not the full picture. The Bible warns us about the dangers of comparison. In Galatians chapter 6, verses 4 to 5, it says, "Each one should test their own actions. When we stop comparing and start counting our own blessings, we open the door to true joy and fulfillment." The pursuit of perfection is another thief of happiness. Society often pressures us to be perfect in every aspect of our lives, at work, in our relationships, and even in our appearance. This relentless pursuit can lead to feelings of failure and disappointment when we inevitably fall short. Perfection is an illusion because no one is perfect. Trying to live up to impossible standards sets us up for a cycle of dissatisfaction and stress. Instead of striving for perfection, we should aim for progress and growth. Accepting our imperfections allows us to experience God's grace and love more deeply. Every person's journey is unique. We each have our own paths, shaped by our experiences, choices, and God's plan for our lives. When we embrace our unique journey, we can find joy and fulfillment in the present, regardless of where we are compared to others. It's important to remember that God created us uniquely and for a purpose. Recognizing this helps us to value our individuality and trust that we are exactly where we need to be. To embrace our unique journey, we need to focus on our goals and dreams, not on what others are doing. By turning our attention to our own path and seeking God's guidance, we can live more fully in the present and appreciate the beauty of our unique journey. We live in a world of endless possibilities. Opportunities abound, choices multiply, and we're constantly bombarded with messages telling us to chase our dreams and live life to the fullest. While this can be exciting, it can also be overwhelming. Without a clear sense of purpose, we can feel unsure of which direction to take. This lack of purpose can lead to a deep sense of emptiness. We may find ourselves going through the motions of life, achieving goals and accumulating possessions, yet still feeling unfulfilled. The Bible tells us that we were created with a purpose. When we don't know our purpose, we're like ships without anchors, tossed about by the waves of uncertainty. Discovering your purpose is a journey, not a destination. It's about tuning into your God-given passions, talents, and desires, and aligning your life with His plan. Start by asking yourself, what brings you joy? What are you passionate about? What makes you feel alive and energized? These passions are often clues to your God-given purpose. Once you have a sense of your passions, consider how you can use them to make a difference in the world. Proverbs 16 verse 9 says, "In their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps." As you seek His guidance, He will direct your path and open doors that you never could have imagined. Living a life of purpose is about more than just identifying your passions and using your talents. It's about aligning your everyday actions with your values, making choices that reflect your priorities, and living with intentionality. Colossians chapter 3 verses 23 to 24 say, "Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters." When we live our lives with purpose, we approach everything we do, from our work to our relationships, as an act of worship. This doesn't mean that every day will be easy or that we won't face challenges along the way. But knowing that we're living in alignment with God's plan for our lives gives us the strength to persevere through difficulties. We've explored the thieves of joy, those insidious forces that try to rob us of our happiness. Stress, comparison, and purposelessness can weigh us down, leaving us feeling lost and unfulfilled. But here's the good news. You have the power to reclaim your joy. It's not about waiting for the perfect circumstances or achieving some distant goal. It's about making a conscious choice to focus on the good, to cultivate gratitude, and to live in alignment with God's purpose for your life. Remember, happiness is an inside job. When you focus on negative thoughts, you invite stress and anxiety into your life. But when you choose to focus on God's promises, on His love and faithfulness, you open your heart to joy and peace. Stress is a part of life, but it doesn't have to control you. Just like you can train your body to be stronger, you can train your mind to be more resilient to stress. It all starts with incorporating healthy habits into your daily routine. One of the most effective ways to combat stress is through exercise. Physical activity releases endorphins, those feel-good chemicals that boost your mood and reduce stress hormones. Find an activity you enjoy, whether it's going for a walk in nature, joining a dance class, or playing a sport, and make it a regular part of your week. Another powerful stress buster is spending time in prayer and meditation. When you quiet your mind and focus on God's presence, you invite His peace to wash over you. Remember, you can't pour from an empty cup. Take care of yourself so you can better care for others. We were created for connection with God and connection with others. When we feel lost and purposeless, it's often because we've lost sight of these connections. We may be so focused on our own problems and desires that we forget about the needs of those around us. Or we may feel so distant from God that we no longer hear His voice guiding us. One of the best ways to discover your purpose is to serve others. When you shift your focus from yourself to the needs of those around you, you tap into a deeper sense of meaning and fulfillment. Find ways to use your gifts and talents to make a difference in your community. Volunteer at a local charity, mentor a young person, or simply lend a helping hand to a neighbor in need. In addition to serving others, make time for the people who matter most. Cultivate deep, meaningful relationships with your family and friends. Share your heart with them, listen to their stories, and support them through life's challenges. These connections are a source of strength, joy, and purpose. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. God is with you every step of the way, ready to guide you, strengthen you, and fill you with His joy. As you seek Him, trust Him, and surrender your will to His, you will discover the abundant life He has planned for you, a life filled with purpose, peace, and unshakable joy. We've journeyed together, exploring the thieves that sneak in and try to steal our joy. Stress whispers doubts, telling us we're not enough. Comparison tempts us to measure our lives against others, breeding discontent. And purposelessness leaves us feeling adrift, longing for direction. But here's the beautiful truth. You are not defined by these challenges. God has a plan for your life, a plan filled with hope, purpose, and abundant joy. True happiness isn't found in perfect circumstances or material possessions. It's not about avoiding life's storms or pretending they don't exist. Instead, it's about choosing joy even when life gets tough. It's about finding strength in God's presence, knowing that He is with you every step of the way. Remember, your worth is not determined by your accomplishments, your possessions, or the opinions of others. Your worth is found in God's unconditional love for you. You are His masterpiece, created with unique gifts and talents to make a difference in the world. Embrace who you are, flaws and all, and step into the fullness of life He has for you. It's time to silence the lies of the enemy and replace them with God's truth. You are loved, you are valued, you are enough, and with God by your side, you can overcome any obstacle and experience the joy that comes from living a life filled with His purpose. The journey to happiness starts with a choice. Will you allow stress, comparison, and purposelessness to dictate your emotions, or will you choose to find your joy in God? His love is constant. His grace is sufficient. His presence is the source of true and lasting happiness. Take a deep breath and release any burdens you've been carrying. Surrender your worries to God and allow Him to fill you with His peace that surpasses all understanding. Focus on His promises, meditate on His word, and let His love wash over you, renewing your mind and spirit. Remember the practical steps we discussed. Cultivate gratitude, prioritize exercise and self-care, nurture meaningful connections, and find ways to serve others using your unique gifts. Each of these steps is a building block, leading you closer to the joyful life God intends for you. Today, choose joy, choose faith, choose God, and as you walk with Him, you'll discover a happiness that runs deeper than any circumstance, a joy that transcends any challenge. The path ahead may not always be easy, but with God as your guide and His joy as your strength, you can face anything life throws your way.